Sam Raimi, the director of Spider-Man and the Evil Dead trilogy, returns to horror with a vengeance.
A dark spirit has come upon you. It will come to take you.
Take me where?
To burn in hell for eternity.
Drag Me to Hell, rated PG-13, starts tomorrow.
Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another movie review. And this review is going to be on Drag Me to Hell, which was released in 2009, and the film stars Alison Lohman, Justin Long, Lorna Raver, Dileep Rao, and also Reggie Lee. Now, the film was directed by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi also wrote the film along with his brother Ivan. And this film is, Sam Raimi's return to horror. This is the film that he did after Spider-Man 3. And I watched the film today, and I had fun with it. I thought it was a fun horror film, even though it's more of a comedy than a horror film, because there are some scenes in this film which made me laugh. It's a hilarious film, in my opinion. Technically, it's supposed to be horror, but if you watched Sam Raimi's Evil Dead films, which I have never seen any of them, but I've heard this film is the same thing like Evil Dead, like how he blends horror and comedy pretty well in those films. And the film is PG-13. This film is an example of how a PG-13 horror film is done right. When a horror film doesn't have to be rated R to go all out and be all bloody and gory. The PG-13 rating for the film actually works. And pretty much basically what the film is about is Christine Brown, who is played by Alison Lohman. She is a bank loan officer, and she has to prove to her boss that she can make all these hard decisions at work. So there's this old woman by the name of Sylvia Ganesh, who is played by Lorna Raver. She comes in and she ends up asking Alison Lohman's character for a third extension on her mortgage. So Alison Lohman's character ends up denying Lorna Raver's character's mortgage, for an extension. And pretty much, she starts, begging Alison Lohman's character not to have, her house repossessed. And pretty much she ends up attacking Alison Lohman's character, and she ends up putting a curse on her. And that curse goes for 3 days of, tormenting Alison Lohman's character. So how does Alison Lohman's character, Christine, end up getting cursed by Ganesh? Well, Alison Lohman's character finishes work. She goes into the parking garage, and she gets in her car, and Sylvia Ganesh, who is played by Lorna Raver, is in the car. She ends up scaring her and ends up attacking her. So Ganesh ends up ripping a button from Alison Lohman's character coat and curses it. So because of that, Alison Lohman and her boyfriend Clay Dalton, who was played by Justin Long, visit this fortune teller, Raheem Jaz, who was played by Dileep Rao, and he ends up telling Alison Lohman that a dark spirit is haunting her, and that spirit, that demon, is known as the Lamia. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this demon will torment her for 3 days before it literally drags her down to hell. So pretty much basically it's just Alison Lohman's character trying to, get this demon away from her and get rid of the button that's cursed. And pretty much that's basically what the film is about. But overall, I thought the film was, very fun. It's ridiculous in some parts. It's, gross in some parts. It's just hilarious. even though it's technically supposed to be a horror film, they market it as a horror film, but it's more of a comedy than a horror film. But that's what I said. What Sam Raimi does with did with his Evil Dead films. His Evil Dead films I heard are the same. But Sam Raimi ended up doing this film after Spider-Man 3. He actually wrote the film with his brother Ivan Raimi while they were working, before they were working on the Spider-Man trilogy. But Alison Lohman as Christine Brown, I thought she did a decent job here, and you really feel for her. She tries to help Lorna Raver's character, and get a extension on her house, the mortgage, but her boss, doesn't want her to give Sylvia Garnish a third mortgage. So that's how she ends up becoming cursed, and you really feel bad for her character. Being cursed is not what she needed. But you also got Justin Long, who plays her boyfriend, Clay Dalton, which it was nice to see Justin Long in there. He's a guy that really cares for Christine, and everything that's going on with her. He's just there for her. You got Lorna Raver, who plays Sylvia Ganesh, who is very crazy. Very evil character. That puts a curse on Alison Lohman's character, and just is basically haunting her. Dileep Rao plays Raheem Jaj, the fortune teller. I thought he did a good job as well. Him trying to help Alison Lohman and get rid of the demon and the curse that's on her. It was good to see Reggie Lee in here. Reggie Lee is one of the co-workers of Alison Lohman's character, who works at the bank. And Reggie Lee, he was in one of my favorite shows as Sergeant Wu on Grimm. That was the show with David Gentoli and Russell Hornsby, where David Gentoli discovers that he is a Grimm, and like these guardians. So he sees like these mythological creatures. Reggie Lee's character is a co-worker to David Gentoli in that show, which is on my list of favorite shows of all time. I really love Grimm. Was a huge fan of it. And you also have Octavia Spencer, a little appearance by her, who was a co-worker to Alison Lohman's character, who works in the bank with her. And you got, the hilarious scenes where in the parking garage, where Sylvia Garnish attacks Alison Lohman's character, Christine. She ends up putting her big mouth on Alison Lohman's character's chin, and just all the gook that that you see come from her into Alison Lohman. Got the nightmare scene where a fly ends up going up Alison Lohman's nose, and then it goes out, and then it goes right into her mouth, and she gets the nightmare of Sylvia Garnish, Lorna Raver's character, and just her puking up, like, I don't know what it was, though. She ends up puking it all into her mouth, which was hilarious. And then, of course, the seance scene with the talking goat. Yeah, there's a talking goat in this film where Alison Lohman's character goes and meets Sandina, who is played by Adriana Barraza. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And pretty much she goes to her to banish the demon from the seance, but Alison Lohman's character ends up putting Adriana Barraza's hand while she's doing the seance onto the goat, and then the goat ends up talking. The goat is like, "Oh, you tricked me, you black-hearted whore." and then the spirit goes into another guy there, and the other guy's like, it was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And you get the one scene where Alison Lohman's character has a nosebleed, and the blood ends up shooting out like a faucet onto her boss, which that was funny. And then you have the scene where Alison Lohman's character ends up having dinner with Justin Long's character's parents, and she's eating the cake, and she tries to eat it, and she sees the eyeball in the cake, and then she sticks the fork, in it, and you see all the blood, coming out of the eye, and then as soon as she ate the cake, she ends up choking up something, and it turns out to be a fly, that launches out of her mouth, which it's hilarious. And then the scene where Sylvia Garnish, Lorna Raver's character, ends up punching Alison Lohman in the mouth, and you see, her whole fist and arm in her mouth. It was all CGI, which the CGI in this film is awful, in my opinion. That was some awful CGI in this film. And then, in the end, we see, Alison Lohman's character is eventually dragged down to hell. But overall, Drag Me to Hell, it's a fun film. It's a hilarious film. Even though it's supposed to be a horror film, it is more of a comedy, in my opinion. But it's definitely a fun film to check out. The acting is alright, not the greatest though, but still, aside from that, just going into it with a open mind and think you're going to really like it. So, I mean, it's not going to be a film for everybody, but definitely give it a watch. So if you're a fan of Sam Raimi, definitely check out the film. But anyways, that's it for my review of Drag Me to Hell. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later tonight with the SmackDown review. So, see you all then.